Once I see this, you are live. Okay, we are live, folks. This is Conundrum number 15. Thank you so much for tuning in. Um, Today we're featuring Chacal del Tamborazo and Daniel. Again, your last name, my friend. I don't want to butcher it because I respect your name.
Mottahedeh.
Mottahedeh. You heard it here first from the man himself, and also with us the amazing facilitator, organizer, drummer Ben Brown. Thanks so much for having us bringing us together, man. And I'll pass it over for you to you and kind of speak to us a little bit more about what we're gonna listen to and all that good stuff.
Thank you, buddy. Welcome everybody to Conundrum number 15. This is the second season. It's been running for 2 years now. It used to be at the incredible space of Gregory Samek, and while the pandemic is happening, we're doing it as a live stream. Thanks to Adrian learning how to make it happen with the technical side of things. And yeah, just a quick thank you to Barton Sphinx, Diane Cadota, the aforementioned Gregory Samek for hosting all this past year, and all the drummers that have been featured. A quick backstory on Conundrum: we try to find drummers from all different styles, drummers and percussionists, and feature them playing solo and duo. In this case, with the live stream, we've just focused on solos, pre-recorded solos. Yeah, and then we're some more duos, maybe outside in the nature, or get the technology to have some duos again. But for now, it's solo drum pieces. And yeah, so you'll hear a solo by Daniel first, and then Chacal. But I'll do a quick land acknowledgement first. As everything I do in Canada, I do it with the privilege of being on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish people. So paying my respects to those people and acknowledging we're on unceded territory today and every day. So I'll just give a quick introduction to Daniel. I did a workshop at Wellington High School last year with Russell and Tim Sars, Russell Schulberg and Tim Sars. And that high school is full of incredible talent with an amazing band teacher. I had never been to this school or met the Carmela before, the band teacher, but I was introduced to this incredible little subculture in Nanaimo of great musicians, really passionate and dedicated. It really stuck with me, obviously, because I then reached out to Daniel recently in the hopes to feature some more younger artists in this series. It's a place that we haven't focused on as much, trying to find young upcoming talent. And he was gracious enough to join us and make a solo. So I think that's it. And we'll show Daniel's solo, and then we'll come back, maybe chat about it a bit. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. And then we'll premiere Chacal's solo after that. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks, Ben.
Is that good?
Okay.
everybody, sorry about that. Apparently, this video is not in sync with the stream, so I'm just going to take a moment here to fix that. It was working earlier, now it's not. So, anyways, 1 second, folks.
Yes.
Yep.
Hey guys, sorry about that. My
No,
internet just
okay.
crashed in the middle of that, so that was great. And for some reason, the yeah, I don't know, this thing is just being finicky right now, but I think got it to work. So yeah, thanks for your patience, guys. But Daniel, that was amazing, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I really enjoyed like your motivic development. You know, like I mean, I don't know, man. Were you straight up playing around Mary Had a Little Lamb, or like am I just
Yeah, at the beginning. Yeah. I don't know. I like playing with mallets because I feel like they bring out the tone of the drums, you know? Like instead of it's more of a melodic sound compared to like a percussive sound.
Absolutely, man. I agree. I tend to use mallets a lot too, and for that reason, like I mean, it's a different aspect of the drum that you can access. That is definitely very cool to explore, you know, and yeah, just like I really enjoyed just how fluid all your ideas are and just how concise and clear. It's like it's amazing to hear that, man. Like I don't know, like what for you, like who are you listening to like these days? Like what?
Ooh. I like Philly Joe and like Max Roach and Art Blakey, obviously. Those are the big ones. And like I also like some more like modern guys like Ari Honig. I got a lesson with him and
Whoa.
that was pretty cool. He had a big impact on my soloing. And like I don't know if you've heard of Matt Wilson.
No, I haven't heard Matt Wilson.
You should check him out. He's also like pretty cool. Yeah.
Incredible, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. No, it's so great to see like, and like yeah, it was interesting to see your setup too, like the China just underneath the rides. Like where'd you get that from, man?
I won it actually at Music Fest Canada last year.
Oh wow.
I won all my cymbals there actually. I was named best big or Canadian big band drummer of the year, and Dream Cymbals sent me or told me I could pick any 4 cymbals and get them for free. So that was pretty cool.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I see Ben disconnected for a sec, so we'll just wait on him for a sec. But
all right,
César, any thoughts? Oh, yo, you're muted, César, I think.
Sorry.
It's all good, man.
Yes, I was watching the solo of Daniel, and something I liked was that he has some ideas. He started to develop some ideas, and this is good. This is good, like for a drummers. Drummers normally we are very talkative, and sometimes we are noisy, but it's not easy to create idea and develop the idea. And I think you did in this video, Daniel. I heard some parts like you were creating new things, and very good. You take your time. You don't hurry. You always relax, and I like it, Daniel. Congratulations for that solo, Daniel.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to hearing yours.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man.
Hey, Ben.
Hey. I got kicked out. I'm back. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, man. Go for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was gone for a second, so this may have already been touched on, but I really love your mallet playing.
Thank you.
And I was just curious, like, could you talk about, is this something that is kind of you're focusing on now, or more of an ongoing thing, using mallets? Like, it seemed like a very conscious choice.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't know. I've been working on mallets for a while. I guess a lot of the songs, a lot of my repertoire at school involved mallet solos, or at least a couple songs. So it's just something I've been working on, and I thought it'd be just something different. I don't know, because like you don't see drummers playing mallets too often. So and they bring out I like how they bring out the tone of the drums more compared to like a stick. And yeah, like you can play like super quiet with them and still get like a good sound out of the drums, like a distinct tone.
So do you regularly practice then? Like when you practice, are you switching from sticks and brushes and mallets? And
Yeah, all the time. And I play with my hands sometimes too. I just try to make as many different kinds of sounds as possible. I like experimenting.
cool. And what was the process of making this solo something that, like, have you done this kind of thing before, or was this a bit?
Not really. No, I mean, I just kind of went for it. I don't know. I took a couple takes and like, just yeah. I just started with like Mary Had a Little Lamb and like just tried to, I don't know, just build my ideas. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it was so, like Adrian said before I got kicked off for a second, it's so melodic and musical, the solo. I loved it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, the dynamic range is very great to hear too. You're like, super quiet, and then you're really laying into it, but it's still very controlled and very fluid, and just you're not like, and you just kind of feel relaxed, I know you're getting into it, and it's like you can see by your physicality, but it's like it's still kind of just dialed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's so great to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Something I noticed that I like it was the normally drummers we play very hurry, like we are very hyperactive or something like that. But he take his time.
Yeah.
He did some silence and you breathe. With the silence you can breathe the next idea or develop the idea, and it was good. This is what I noticed. It was not like very, I don't know if you understand me, to say like hurry, like you are hitting and later you are, like just make noisy.
Yeah, for sure.
You take your time, and I noticed that in your solo. Good, Daniel.
Thanks. Yeah, something I try to like incorporate is just like using a lot of space, because I feel like space is just as important as like the actual notes. It's what gives them substance. I think that's my ideology.
Yes, cool.
And it's a lot easier to leave space when it's like a free form solo like this versus like playing over a tune or something.
I think solo drums is very interesting because
Yeah.
it's not that another melodic instrument.
Mm.
Okay, my idea to play the solo is more than try to be not like a drummer. This is good because sometimes when we are thinking like a drummer, we are using all the cliches that we practiced before, the rudiments and things like
Yeah.
that. And when you, not you, always I sorry, I want to say you. Okay, me, when I try to play is that I try to do the things that more not like a drummer, and this is very risky and this is very difficult to do that because we have a lot of rudiments in our background.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Wilcoxon books and things like that,
Mm.
And the other thing is that I like it is to break all this thing and to do something more, to try to create atmospheres, soundscapes, and things like that. It's not easy solo drums, Solo drums is very easy to falling down the idea because it's not melodic, harmonic. It's like only rhythm or percussive things, and it's so difficult. This is our thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. What do you think, guys, about it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. And like at least for me, like I know Cesar, like yeah, man, like you've given me so much insight on like the idea of like performing solo, and like the what you're saying now is just like super relevant, and I think like incredible to for us to like kind of take a reflection on, because it's just like yeah, and Ben too, and your work too, man, you're testing the limits of like what is the drummer, right? Kind of like potentially kind of redefining that to a certain extent, or at the very least, like having a different perspective on, how to create music with this instrument, right? Because yeah, I mean, we all know that the drum set is quite a new instrument, right, in comparison to, the other instruments that we commonly hear in our social context, right? So I think it's really important for us to like, obviously we have to revere like the pioneers and the greats, but then it's like uh, taking it to the next place, is very, I think it's very important, and I think you two especially are like, at least for me in my eyes, just like super like on the cusp of like some really very interesting and provocative and just uh yeah, just like very engaging way of approaching the drum set, and I think that's like yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. So like thank you two for like for like making that happen, man, like yeah.
No, really good.
I had a question for you guys. If you listen to solo drum records, and if so, like, I mean, maybe Daniel, you could start. If you have like solo drum repertoire that you listen to and you could recommend to us.
Oh yeah. There's this one record, and it's Jeff Hamilton playing Night in Tunisia, and I think you can find it on YouTube, or it's also on like streaming services. And he plays the melody, and it's pretty hip. There's also like there's Max Roach. I think is it the drum also waltzes? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's another good record, solo drum stuff.
And is that Jeff Hamilton one a whole album that's solo?
No, I think it's just the one track, Night in Tunisia.
Okay, cool. Cesar, have you listened to a lot of solo drum records?
No, it's very interesting question because I think the last I changed the way to listen music. I am not thinking more like solo drummings. I don't have a drummer now, like something new, like to say something. I am listening more like contemporary music, for example, and makes me ideas. No, I don't think more like a drum. It's like a drummer. I am listening more, for example, Stockhausen. No, Stockhausen. Later, he makes some ideas and things like that, and I think like a drummer because I feel tired about jazzy drummers, about the concept of drumming, about the rudiment, the solo, the fourth, and things like that. The how you have to play exactly the note, blah blah blah. And I think this is not my goal. It's not my road. I am trying to do more to create, not follow that before. Like before, I I was listening drummers and I was trying to do the things like they do, but now is years ago I am trying to listen another things like Shostakovich or listen folk music, or I am not listening many jazz or drummers like before now. I love jazz, but sometimes I put something records for old records, not new jazz. I don't like new jazz too much. And this is the way how I am listening music now. I change a lot. I don't know, but this I like it. I like this way to think about music in my drums because I am playing more solo drums because I like to play solo, and some I like to play duos or trios, but more improvised music. Uh, but this is very interesting. Then your question because
Yeah,
Yeah,
my head.
cool. How we doing, Adrian? Are you muted? Should we go on to César's solo? I think we got you on mute, buddy.
Okay. Okay. Damn. Yeah. Okay.
Good.
All right. I'll
Thanks,
check it
Andrew.
out.
Yeah, me too.
We're still live here, and yeah, I'll just be a moment to get Cesar's solo up. Okay.
And do you want to set this up at all, César?
Sorry.
Do you want to set it up by saying anything about the solo before we see it?
It's good to play solo and just any ideas. It's like in the beginning is start to build. This is why in the solo you're gonna see or you're gonna hear like I'm start with something and to create the idea with this and let it developing. And when I feel like I open another door, I can go to that way and it's good. It's good to play the drums just without idea. It's too risky because it's like it's like you can falling down very easily. And this is what I did in this video solo. I hope you will enjoy it. And I recorded, I think, the last week when Adrian told me, or 2 weeks ago, I don't remember, and I like it. I like it. Sometimes I like to listen myself and watch me, and it's like, oh my God, it's like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks, guys.
Okay, looking forward
Go,
to
Adrian.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Cesar. Thank you, Daniel. That was incredible, bro. But yeah, we're gonna transition to Cesar's solo. Just give me a moment. I'm gonna blank the screen, and we'll be on our way.
We'll go on mute.
Yeah, man. If you guys can mute, that'd be awesome. I'm just gonna make the transition now. Wow, Cesar. Thank you so much, man. That just destroyed my brain on many
Oh,
levels.
well, this is not the idea to destroy your. The idea is to go in the soundscape and imagine the forest and the hippopotamus and things like that.
Just give me a sec here. I just accidentally. There we go. See everybody. No, man. What I mean by that is that like it blew my mind, man. Like there's so much happening. There's so much happening, Cesar. Like in the sense of like just the way that you're touching the drums and being able to get so much timbre and just like the development of the ideas and the cohesiveness of it, and also the variations within it that you're creating, but it's still within this realm, that is very just like atmospheric and engrossing, like, and yeah, man, like, what you're mentioning earlier, like, when you're thinking about images, and we've talked about this, right? Like, the landscape, anything, or even just kind of more abstract, imaginary, like influences. Maybe can you speak to that a little bit, man? Like, because I don't know, you have a very interesting journey, right? Percussively, right? And maybe you can speak to a little bit about that.
I think in this moment I feel very good about to be a drummer. Before I was more, you in Mexico you have a lot of gigs, playing, earning money, playing pop, rock, reggae, stuff like that. And later, 15 years ago, I started to play jazz, and after jazz, I start to meet with the other guys, with the dirty guys of jazz, the
Mhm.
free jazz guys in Mexico City. Herman Bringas, one of the best
Right.
musicians in Mexico. Later, I start to get there, and I feel freedom. Really, this is how I feel. When I was playing jazz, it's like I feel a little bit anxious, like to practice every day, like we were talking before that Tony Williams and Dr. Jonette and all that drummers, it's like, oh my God, it's like, I cannot do the same, it's like, and I felt, and I started to play for jazz, and that moment was like a liberation, like I feel so good. And okay, after that is now I feel very good because I don't feel these tensions when I move to Vancouver, because in Vancouver it's different, and I am not looking for the gig or like in Mexico, you are a freelance musician, and you have to be, everybody has to know you, how is this thing, like to be in the circle. And now I am more in the way like I play my things, and I don't earn money now in these moments playing music, and I feel so good. I don't feel like a very, yeah, like crazy. I take my time to play my drums, and it's about, okay, before this is I what I say that because before I was thinking like a drummer gig, like I need the gig, I have to improve my things because the best musicians in Mexico, I want to play with them, and you have another friends drummers and they are very good and better than you, and you want to be better than them, and it's like it's a good competition, it's a good competition because you want the gigs, no, really, really, it's like you want the gigs, you want to be in festivals, you want to be in many, and this is not the thing. I think now I changed my head. Now my head is more like a spiritual way because this is how all the time I am. Like if you can see in my drum, sometimes sounds like a pre-Hispanic things because a long time ago I was at the pre-Hispanic dancer when I was like 17 years old. I was busy in the mountains. I was in the spiritual things in pre-Hispanic, Mexica, not Aztecs, Mexicas, and I was, that in that things. I play drums too, the congas, djembes, I like Latin music, African music, in different gigs too, playing salsa, playing another things. This is what I like to play the drums with my hands because I feel like a relation there.
Hmm.
But always I like a lot the earth, the earth about the ground, like to be in like drums is ground. It's like a earth, it's like a connect with the earth very good. And now I feel it, when I play my drums, I feel it. Okay, now I am in the moment like we were talking before, like, who is the drummer that I like it, and I don't have the answer because in this moment I am more in the way like how my head, my brain, my all complete Caesar, how react with with the drums. When I was playing this solo, it's a good idea. It's an example that how your head works, because we have four, how do you say, extremidades,
Yeah, limbs. Yeah, our limbs are
limbs,
four limbs. Hmm.
and we like a drummers, we think like a drummer. We were practicing a lot of things, the right hand always is like you are in the earth with the right hand. In my case, I feel that here is the one, all the time. Many drummers think like here is the one, always you have to make this is the one, the one. Oh no, and left is the opposite. The left is exactly all the time is not in the one. It's like a up. It's on the top. The right leg is always the same thing, and the left is the other thing. We our head is the construction. Our head we did in this way, like a drummers. And now I am changing complete my the concept. I am focused like this one. My left hand is gonna be now the one, and my right is gonna be the another thing, and the left is changing. But I am conscious at the moment, like I am present. I am very present playing. I am sometimes, when you are playing drums, like in this solo drums, I have many ideas, no, in different parts of my bodies. I may start something with here or something with here. On my left, my left leg is like foot, no. My left foot is doing many things. Like I was very focused what my foot is doing. The left, maybe it's not very clearly, but I was very, and I was doing complete things, opposite things in my another three parts.
Yeah.
And it's like and it's very interesting. This is what when I practice my drums all the time. I am trying to feel present and feel how works my body. For example, we are playing and we forgot, like we have the left hand. We are playing. Here is the left hand, no? But you are playing. But the left hand you forgot. You just do it inconscient because you practice too much. Well, no, this is not mm, my case in this moment. I am practicing. I feel my left hand. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. And I change complete my head. And I focus in my left hand. And now my left hand is gonna be the my left hand is who's a construction, the solo.
Right.
And the idea
Yeah.
comes with my left hand. And it's the same with all the part of my body. And it's the head is the same thing. With the head is the same thing, like imagination. I don't want to think mathematic things in my head, just imagination to create things. And this is my solo, how was created in that way. Like I was focusing different part of my bodies.
Hmm.
And now this is the thing how I do it. And I don't know in the future what I'm gonna do, but I wanna be very practice this thing in your head. What is going on? It's now in my time. It's I am not thinking like I say again. Sorry, like a drummer. I try to think a different way, and it's good like to forget that drummer. Trying. I like to play drums. I can play funk. I love to play funk, or I like to play reggae, cumbia, salsa. music is music. I love it. Yes, man.
Yeah, man.
But
Music
now,
is
but now,
music, man. Yeah.
yes. But the thing now in this moment, this is my particular thing. You know, like I love this thing, and I wanna do this. You know,
Mhm.
I like to talk. Sorry, guys. And
No, Cesar, thank you so much for
this is
sharing your process and your history. And yeah, Ben or
thanks.
Daniel, any comments, questions, reflections?
I don't know. I thought the whole solo was awesome. I mean, like all the sounds, all the different sounds and stuff. I thought it was really cool. I've never seen anything like that. It's like almost hypnotic at parts. It's
Yes,
cool.
Totally,
yes. So,
totally, man.
so
It's very engrossing, right? Just like the different layers of texture
Yeah,
that create this cohesiveness. Yeah, it's
yeah.
do you like Moondog?
Moondog. Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
like
Moondog's
Moondog?
great.
I like Moondog, minimal. You know, sometimes Moondog.
Minimal Moondog.
No, do you know this guy, Moondog?
Yeah, I know Moondog. I don't
No,
know.
it's like
Do you guys
a
know Moondog?
minimal music, like in the New York in the 50s, and it's very minimal. Taka 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 taka, and it's like you are like that. Sometimes this is how I feel. Like I make something like and I just stay there, and nothing happened. But in your head, it's like a take you like something psycho. You know, like Moondog is good.
Moondog.
Yeah, man,
Yes,
Moondog. Yeah, he has his own history, which is
it's very interesting.
we can go on a tangent and yeah, but he's a trip, Daniel. If you yeah, I would recommend it. It's very interesting. It's definitely like yeah, it's something that it's very unconventional. But yeah, it's kind of in this realm of like just engrossing sort of atmospheric sort of sound. Yeah.
All right, I dig that. I'll check
Very
it out.
interesting. He was playing in the streets like a Viking, dressing the Viking, and he create his own instruments. Interesting guy.
Well, I think you're muted, Ben.
Can I ask you about the polyrhythms in the solo? Because there's a lot of polyrhythms, and I was just curious, like, if you think about it in that way or not.
This is interesting. Of course, I was thinking in that way, but I don't know what I'm doing. It's like I separate. This is what I'm saying. Like I separate my left foot. You know, I
Yeah.
know what is going on with my foot, but here is not. I am not thinking if I am doing triplets or you know. I think sometimes, and I think now I can do it. So just to separate for complete one part of the body. For example, this case, my left foot, and with the other parts, I can do more out of everything. You know, it's like sometimes sounds like it's maybe street there, but it's not very clearly. And this is something interesting about in my case now about my music. I am not thinking in perfection. I am thinking in the whole picture. Like I don't know, but this is maybe why I like to play this kind of music because I don't like exactly things, you know, because this is how I am in my real life. No, I don't feel comfy when everything is very organized. I,
And it made me wonder if you had practiced a lot of polyrhythms. And it also made me wonder whether some of these rhythms were coming from your background, like you're from Mexico.
yes, there is some rhythms, of course. There are some rhythms like, for example, maybe sometimes sounds like a 3/4, you know, like tang ding gang ding gang ding gang ding gang ding gang. You know, it's like this rhythm is very Latin, Afro Latin American rhythm, no, like 3/4. Not it's not 6/8. It's more 3/4. Like in Mexico, we have like a para bailar la bamba, for example. This song, la bamba is in 3/4. The rhythm, you know, and the things like they are doing with the dancing, the dancers is totally polyrhythm. And you know, Latin America has a lot of things like that. course, we have our background, and in the background we have a lot of things. And sometimes you open the box and comes, and you take that idea and you explore. This is good. This is good to have some things like that. I am thinking, I don't know, sometimes appears and I do it.
I think one of the things I've been thinking about a lot during this time, and then also through just trying to find solo drum albums, like one of the things I'm trying to research is just listening to different, I mean, Conundrum is part of that, just listening to how different people are approaching the idea of playing solo drums.
Okay. For example, now I come to my mind one. Do you heard about Batarumba?
Mm-mm.
Okay, Batarumba is the black rhythms in Cuba.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. For example, there is one interesting band. Is I don't know, Adrian. Maybe you wanna help them.
Yeah.
Los Muñequitos de Matanza.
Los Muñequitos de Matanza. I'll write it in the chat after.
Okay, these guys are playing very difficult rhythms. This is how it sounds. It's too difficult, but the whole picture is like a crazy, man. They are playing with batas or they are playing with three congas and with shakers and but this I think I recommend it if you like the percussions like this kind of rhythms you have to listen. Bata rumba, this is the rhythm of Cuba. It's like they are playing saints. Every rhythm have like a saint. It's like orishas. Orishas they have 7 kind of rhythms like bata rumba. Bata is applying drums of batas, and it's very interesting. They are very interesting because they are things very interesting like so crazy and difficult to play. For example, do you know the rhythm guaguancó? Kung king king kung. Okay, in Puerto Rico they play guaguancó with the clave catch back. Okay, in Puerto Rico they play guaguancó with the clave of rumba 3-2. It's more easy. I'm gonna play. Kung pim pim kung pat kung king kung. Okay, try to play the clave 2-3. I cannot. And this is how I play in Cuba. It's like I cannot. My head is not. I try to do it, and never works. So difficult. And this is the rhythm of Batarumba, for example. They cross everything, and it's so difficult. It's like incredible rhythms. Or the Black Cumbia, Colombia.
Yeah, man.
Black Cumbia in Colombia. In Latin America, we have a lot of rhythms. In Uruguay, they have candombe.
Yeah, candombe.
Is the black rhythm in Uruguay. Candombe. And in Mexico, we don't have black rhythms because in Mexico, we don't have like a black culture too much. No, there's small group in Mexico. They are more from the Spanish. The Spanish came, and I think our rhythms are more Arabian. Like in Veracruz, La Bamba is more like kind of moro from Spanish Arabian rhythms, no? More like flamenco things like it. But the others, if you go to Belize, they have more black rhythms. If you go to Guatemala is not much black, but they are like South America, Colombia, Brazil, and Cuba, and some Caribbean places too, and a lot of rhythm. Latin America has a lot of rhythm. Interesting. And I was trying to play that music long time ago. I have my ensembles and with some friends, and I have some gigs about this kind of or from Brazil, no, like Partido Alto and rhythms from Brazil. I was playing a lot of rhythms, Brazilian rhythms, like batucadas and different types of snare things and the bass and surdos. And it's interesting. Brazil, the rhythms in Brazil are very nice. And Latin America is fantastic because it's the mix, Spanish with Africa. Of course, Africa is another thing. No, but this is maybe this is sometimes I play in that way, like more like tribal things, more tribal things like pre-Hispanic things, just like that, and
I guess that's part of what I was thinking about recently is a lot of these rhythms come from Africa, Latin rhythms, and I'm just curious if any of you have anything to say on like kind of paying respect in your drum practice to the lineage and to the history of this music. So for me, for example, I don't come from either the lineage of Black drummers playing their music,
Okay.
and I don't come from a lineage of I'm not Latino playing a Latin inspired music. So for me, one of the questions that I'm grappling with right now is how to make solo drum music and not have it be full of appropriation. And so I was just curious if you thought about that at all, or like how you practical ways of approaching solo drums and being respectful and mindful of like what lineages you're deriving from.
Can you ask me again the same question, but more easy, because I feel I lost. My English is not the best. I imagine maybe, but do it more simple for me, please.
So I
Like
think Cesar, or I don't know, Ben. I don't want to speak for you, but
okay.
But I don't know. I guess from what I took from Ben's question is just like, when we're performing solo drums and we're inspired by, say, different rhythms that come from different parts of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we pay respect to the tradition of that rhythm when for example in the context that we come from, where we're kind of far removed from it geographically, socially, culturally? How do we pay respect to the music and the people who have played it? If we're like interested in the music and it's something that we feel connected to in a certain way, like, and Ben's question was just kind of like, yeah, like how do we go about doing that, or like if you have any opinions about how to do that. Am I kind of like am I on the right page there, Ben?
Yeah, thank you.
It's about respect about the African traditions, things in Latin America. I think there are some communities in many places in Latin America. They respect a lot. They make the same parties with this music, respecting about the kind of religion, because some of the kind of rhythms came from religion, like in Cuba, like orishas. And I think guaguancó is one of the rhythms more popular in Batarumba. All the time they are playing like a guaguancó, pum, pim, pim, pum, and there are some persons or groups that they are doing like a religion thing. But I think in other places in Latin America, they are playing this kind of music just to like party, more like dancing. Cumbia, for example, cumbia has a very good history, about like how now the cumbia like we play in Mexico is not the same cumbia like playing Colombia, the village, It's in the same cumbia in Argentina is not the same cumbia like in Mexico, Colombia. But the rhythm of cumbia is very interesting, and to take that things to put into your drums is very interesting, So like the most difficult things is to all the ensemble put in one drum, so difficult. You have to play everything. And I was practicing a long time ago this kind of rhythms, like clave with the left foot and things like that, and cascara with the drums, like congas in your left hand. And in Mexico, there are some rhythms like religious, like it's not like a religious. It's more like a philosophy of Aztec, and they have some rhythms just to meaning the meaning of the sun, for example. They put in the drums, or the rain, they have some special rhythm, or the wind or things like that. And when I play my drums, I have a lot of respect in the things I am doing with myself and connecting with everything, I don't know if this is the answer that you want to listen, Ben.
Yo, Ben, I have a take on this, man. I think I think the biggest thing for me in terms of I think we're in the social context that we live in right now, it's so easy for anyone to get into anything, so to speak, right? I mean, there's so much information, and it's all accessible for us, but I think if it's as musicians, practitioners of this sound, I think it's just if we're gonna be inspired, influenced by this music, I think we have to be as transparent as we can about it. I think it's totally cool to be into whatever it is that we're into, and you acknowledge it, and you're just transparent about it, because I don't know, from my experience, I've seen other musicians, for example, I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to get into that, not in our community, but just stuff that I've seen across, and for example, there's a musician that will play Mulatu Estake's music, and I don't know, he played Mulatu Estake's music at a show. They opened for a band, and when they finished the song, they didn't acknowledge that the fact that they were playing Mulatu Estake's music, So it's I don't know. For me, I think that's totally whack. It's just if you're gonna play someone else's music and not mention who they are, where they came from, give any sort of context behind that, I think that's just kind of messed up. I think it would have been totally cool if the guy played Mulatu Estake's music and said hey, we're playing Mulatu Estake's music right now, this, and he came from X, Y, and Z. He had this trajectory, and you inform people, right? I don't know. I think for me that's super important. When we're talking about getting influences from other places, we acknowledge it for what it is, and in an ideal situation, potentially we can have a connection with maybe practitioners from that community, or some sort of connection, a direct connection, to be hey, you ask this person a certain thing and they tell you what they think, and then there's a dialogue that's created. It's not just it's not just some random thing that you just want to take for your own I don't know, for your own means or whatever, So I don't know. I think for me, when it comes to that, the main goal is just transparency and acknowledging. I think, especially now, because there's a lot of stuff that kind of just gets put out, and you can definitely tell it has this certain influence or a certain vibe, but then it's they don't mention any of that stuff. I think that's problematic for me. But I think if we're open about it and we try to have that dialogue, I think that's cool. I think that a way to make it a little bit more healthy in the terms of how we're interacting with culture, and sound.
Yeah, but there are some places you have to be very respectful.
Of course, yeah. There are some things that I don't think we can necessarily access, But that's
they have to accept you first, and later. I have a friend. He's a very good improviser. He's very good. He's traveling around the world, but he lives in Mexico, and his name is Misha Marks. And I think this guy knows more about traditions, Mexican tradition, music, Mexican tradition, than me. He's from New Zealand. He's improviser. He's fantastic improviser. But this guy he goes to the village, and go there and live with them, and he's learning everything about them, and he loves that really, and he knows more about traditional music, Mexican traditional music than me. Really, it's like, well, the thing is, he's accepted. Now they accept him. They if you want to learn something, you have to go, and they have to accept you in the community. There you can uh, be with them, and in ceremonies and things like that. In Mexico, we have a lot of communities like you have to be accepted. This is something I love from Mexico. I love Mexico, like we are living two kind of civilizations in one. We have the new world, and we have our old world, and we are trying to respect each other's. Like we have a lot of communities. In Mexico, we speaks more than 90 language, different kind of language. Imagine 90. There is a lot, and there is different. It's good. It's good about it.
Welcome back, Daniel.
Sorry, yeah,
Oh,
my
it's all
my
good,
internet
man.
just cut out.
Yeah, no worries, man. We were just talking about the idea of how do we pay respect to cultures that we are inspired by in terms of music, and
Right,
how
yeah.
do we go about doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any thoughts or opinions?
Oh, I don't know. That's a difficult question to answer. I
For
mean,
sure.
I agree with what you said about if you're playing somebody's music, you should acknowledge who like wrote that music originally and like where they're from. I think it's always important to like acknowledge the tradition and like the original of any kind of music.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess why part of the reason I'm asking the question is I'm just trying to brainstorm ways very practically that we can start to do that as musicians, and I think it's a really, I mean, the way Cesar you bring up of like going to the village, going to the people, getting the permission is incredible, and that, I mean, I love this idea, and I've done that. I've gone to Evelyn Glennie, I've gone to the masters and asked them, can I study with you? Can I share the knowledge? And they've given me the permission in some cases, but in most cases, I haven't because they're dead or because it's not practical to go and visit these people. And so I'm just very interested in the case that we can go physically or somehow to these places and receive the permission. I think that's fantastic. But in the cases where we can't do that, I'm curious practical ways that we can, especially with drumming, solo drumming, because in my experience so far, it's deriving from so much African music and folk music, and music that is so rich in history, but it's hard to get permission from a person or a place. So I just hope to generate more practical ways that we can play the music respectfully, or for me personally,
Totally, man.
where that comes from.
Yes. I think an interesting take on that, maybe we can take from a lesson or two from, is Milford Graves. He kind of has an interesting philosophy on like kind of like his idea of music making, because like he's African American living in New York, born and raised in New York, and he, I think he has this very like very very much like tribal sort of vibe, and just like very in touch with that. But he's never like, I don't know if never, but for example, he derives a lot of his influence from Africa, but being from the States, it's like he ended up creating his own language, so to speak, because like he's this dude in this giant city, like, facing with like all this crazy like systemic like oppression, and like he was just expressing himself, and it came from within. It wasn't like he wasn't trying to be like, yo, I want to like play exactly like X, Y, or Z or something. He kind of like went on his own trip. And yeah, I guess like one thing he does say is like going to the source. So like in his documentary, he's like, yeah, like he wanted to learn kung fu basically, and one of the styles of kung fu he wanted to learn was like the praying mantis, the praying mantis, and so his trip was like, yo, like I want to go to the teacher, I want to go to the teacher. And so what he did, he said he went to the pet store and he bought praying mantises, and he let them loose in his little garden, and he said he would observe them, like he would observe the praying mantis and try to like assimilate as much as he could of their movements to then inspire his drum set playing, like instead of, because I guess it's very interesting, like culturally, like we take so much from the natural world, right? But then it becomes a different form once it's humanized, so to speak. For example, and I don't know, at least in a martial art, for example, I don't know, it could apply to other things probably, but it's interesting his idea of like, you see, you want to stay with the master mantis, you go to the mantis, you go to the real mantis, and then he generates his own meaning from his interpretation of like these movements of this animal, for example, So I don't know. I think there's some interesting sort of like things to kind of take there somehow, And in terms of being practical about it in today's world, I don't know, man. It's like it is sort of a trip, because I guess like I don't know, like if we're being real, it's like we take so much from so many different places all the time. So it's like I think it's kind of impossible for us to reference every single thing that we I don't know. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be able to do that work, obviously, but yeah, it's like kind of like where is that line drawn? I don't know, but at the very least, it's like trying to be as transparent as possible. At least, I think it's a good start anyway.
I think I think it happened in all the societies that it's happened in many scenes of musicians that if you are, I have friends, that they are very anarchy in the way to play impro music, They don't like the people to play like in Europe, for example. In Europe, they are doing more like sounds, improvising with sounds and nothing happen around and 30 minutes playing the same thing and nothing happen. In my case, I don't like too much, but they are very free jazz, They are very free jazz. Milford Graves, and they are my friends, and I play with them. But I know, like when I play with them, I know how is the energy that how they play. Is I have to play in different way. It's like it depends where are you. You are playing in different ways. You cannot play with the same thing with many musicians with different kind of musicians because everybody has something. Of course, you have your own language, but you adapt many things. Okay, we are talking about that when I playing with them, I know like they are free jazz. Or when I go to Europe and I play with my friends in Poland or Berlin, I know like they play in different way. It's like here in Vancouver, it's the same. Vancouver, the people play in different way. Really, it's like everybody has a community, and the community thinks that the best way to do that is in this way, like my community. No, the thing is like in my case, I wanna play, just play. I don't want to think too much if it's free jazz or it's improv from Europe, contemporary music of that, or I don't know. Or in the jazz. In the jazz happened too much. When I was playing with my friend jazz, I love all my friends in Mexico. I know all the musicians. Most of them, I know them, jazz players in Mexico. it's a big community of jazz players. I love them, but always I have fun with them because I am pissed them off. I don't know if it's good to say, like saying like, oh, jazz is like the same thing, because jazz is like a police of jazz, and I have a lot of fun about that, and they, because in jazz, there's depends, with who, because in the jazz society there are different groups. Like they like to play more like bebop. Someone play. They like to play more like traditional way. Some, no, it's like everybody has something. We have to be respectful to everybody. The communities always has. This is why it's a community, because they think the same way. If you don't think in the same way, you cannot be part of my community, And it's not good. And in my case, I don't feel very good. Like this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, or that. This is happening everywhere, It's not only music. And this is how I feel in music. Everybody is like, this is good. The way how they play, I don't like it. And this is blah blah blah. This is my point of view.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks guys for touching on that. It's a tough one, but I wanted to bring it up just because it's something that I'm thinking about a lot. And speaking of community, not that we have to wrap it up, but I did want to mention that at 7 tonight, there is our community of Vancouver and the community definitely of Holland, and I think beyond, the community of Galliano are doing a show online similar to this, the online show. And I just have the details here. It's called the Creative Music Series #8. So you can check it out. It's put on by Now Society. So you can just Google or put in Facebook, Now Society, NOW Society, or you can look up Creative Music Series #8. I'll put the links and stuff on this thread. I'll put it on Conundrum page. I'll post it. And that's a really good lineup. It's 7 o'clock. And it's got Ada Rave, saxophone from Amsterdam. She's an amazing saxophone player. Alex Katona, cello from Galliano, maybe Vancouver now. Amazing cellist who's worked a lot with César. Clyde Reed on bass, fantastic bass player based in Vancouver. Ava Mendoza, guitar player, amazing from Los Angeles. Cole Schmidt, guitar from Vancouver. And Dylan Vanderskype, Vancouver, now in Australia, on the drums. So that's a lineup, 7 o'clock tonight. It's all improvised music. So it's from the improvised communities of these different places. So I highly recommend that. And it's every night for about a week. Me and Adrian were also a part of this project.
Thanks, Ben, for the recommendation.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you too. I'm so grateful for having us here, and like we had this very beautiful discussion, and again, thanks so much for the patience, like trying to get through all this technical stuff. Like,
no, good.
Thanks, guys, and thank
thanks
you to
everybody.
everyone listening.
Thanks, and have a good one.
Yeah. Nice.
Ciao.
See you guys. Thanks so much.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.